Welcome to Kai's Way, the journey that we're all on to find financial freedom to better ourselves and our families' lives. In this video, I'm talking about £11,200 payout from FTMO, a reputable prop trading firm. Please like and subscribe and comment in order for me to be more motivated to make some content for you guys and share the love. Remember guys, this is not financial advice, it's entertainment only. I do not sell any courses, I will never approach you first. So please stay vigilant. And finally, trading is not a get-rich-quick scheme. So please remember, this stuff takes time, skill, and effort. Now looking at the FTMO dashboard, as you can see, I had made a great start. I think I made around $10,000. I then went through a heavy drawdown period, actually giving away all the gains I'd made. And as you can see then, I got my act together, climbed the account to around, I think at this point it was around 17,000. At this point, so totally recovered the losses from being back to break even, and then took a couple of losses towards the end, and I think that was it for me based on where we were in the calendar month. So the funded part of this challenge started on the 3rd of October and I ended the funded account on the 21st. Essentially you get a new account each time you take a payout. This is a metric I do want to just take a bit of time on, 85% for my consistency score. Now how I believe FTMO measure you using the consistency score is they want to see your lot sizing, your duration of your trades, your actual risk to reward, your losses, and they basically put you on this scale overall. So for me, being in the green part of the actual scale is quite encouraging. Now, just talking around some more metrics, so average profit, as you can see, around 540 per trade, average loss just under 500. I was aiming roughly like a 1-to-1 for a lot of my trades here. It was gold that I was mainly trading. As you can see, the last day I made a $1,000 loss. So for me, I called it a day at this point, also due to where I was in the calendar of upcoming news events. As you can scroll down, you can see some of the more recent P&L in terms of making some money on gold and also US 100, which is NASDAQ, but also taking some losses. I'm giving you full transparency here guys, and I do take losses and that's part of the game. So absolutely showing you the metrics and everything here. So I got a payout around the 22nd of October, as I'm showing you there, and just a little bit more of the metrics here. As you can see, that the instruments I traded, so I traded some forex pairs, took some losses on euro and pound, but US 100 and gold I took profits, and also on pound Aussie dollar, which again shows that my strategies work on multiple assets. Essentially that's kind of how I built my playbook to be able to trade the majority of the markets in case the cycles of one particular asset are not favorable to me. Now, what I'm going to show you here is just the return on investment. So as you can see, I made an investment of around $600 and I returned over 11,000, and the ROI was 1,879%. So quite an impressive return on investment, I would say. You can't really say many businesses are going to return that kind of investment to you in the space of, what was it, around 20 days, 30 days. This is a reason why I believe prop firms do have their place and are of value, because essentially for a very low fee, if you do know how to trade and you've learnt your craft, you can make some serious money. I would say 11,000 was quite conservative for me, but I'm still happy with it. I'm now going to break down some of the actual trades that I took. So going back to the dashboard, I will find a couple of trades that I think are worth talking about. So let's take one gold position there that I will review. We'll take a look at this this particular gold move. We'll have a look at another US 100 sell that we took. So let's start from those two. Okay, so let's analyze that gold play. I do my analysis on TradingView. Essentially this tool has all the indicators, and essentially I just feel as though it's the best tool for doing your chart analysis. Please feel free to look at my link below, as I believe they've always got discounts on, especially with now it being Black Friday. So I do my analysis on gold futures as the underlying asset because I really want to see how the futures market is performing and whether they are support and resistance zones that the futures market is approaching. So I've drawn a bit of a channel here, and gold is sort of moving in this sort of downward trajectory, creating lower lows in a downward channel. However, we have had an upward movement beforehand, so almost like an accumulation / downward trend forming at the moment. And on this particular day, what I was looking at is how gold was performing at my set time of day that I like to trade gold. And remember, guys, that the asset will move at different times during the day, and you need to really master that. And as I could see here, is I understood that gold had made its move back above the VWAP, and the VWAP was now holding strongly, and we were seeing accumulation above the VWAP. I will make a separate video on how I use the VWAP, but for the purpose of this video, let's keep it short and sweet. We can see buyers are holding the position and sellers are not able to push it back below the average price for the day. So I am now getting interested to continue that original upward thrust that happened and take longs into the channel resistance zone. Very simple trade. I believe it was a very, very low risk trade. My stop was very tight below the VWAP, and I'm just looking to take the trade up into this channel for a nice sort of 1 to 2 almost. That's really what I was looking for. The trade ends up being a lot more rewarding because I do like to put my stops to break even as quickly as possible. The purple sort of zone, or that rectangular box, is kind of previous, what I would call resistance / oversupply. So the demand sort of is coming to an end in these zones, and as you can see, as it's approaching those purple sections, price does fade away quite dramatically, quite quickly, and then continues to fade away for the rest of that particular session back into the VWAP. So it took around an hour for this move to play out. I usually do sit in moves for anywhere between 15 minutes to around 2 hours, usually on challenges and funded accounts. So moving on to the second play, which was the NAS 100 or NQ futures. So essentially I am again analyzing the futures asset for my support, resistance and analysis, such as Fibonacci tools, VWAP, volume profile, whatever I might be using. Again, guys, if you do unlock the full features of TradingView, there are some fantastic tools, so check out the link below if it's of interest. So as you can see here on the higher time frames, 4 hour, we can see that NASDAQ has had a nice move to the upside, created a new high, and then we started to break that trend line. So the downward momentum was clear for me. I've got previous week's lows, I've got current week's lows and highs marked out. This, what I'm marking out here, is almost a demand of sellers, should I say, stacked in this zone that have pushed the price down. So that for me is a very interesting area, and it's kind of coming into what I would say almost like a consolidation for then another leg down. That's kind of the thesis coming into the market, that either it's going to do what I'm doing there, which is the leg down, or it potentially could bounce back up to go and test those previous areas. So with that being said, I've kind of got 2 plays in mind going into the market for NASDAQ, but essentially that particular area that I'm now hovering around is of interest. I need to really see how does price react if it comes back there or not. So what I'm doing here, this purple box that is being created, is I'm almost marking out a zone of interest. These are my zones of interest, right? And this is why I'm able to juggle other businesses, a job, etc., whilst trading, because I'm only really interested in trading zones that I've previously marked out and seeing how price reacts. So I would really consider myself as more of like a positional trader, simply because the positions are clear in my head. I want to get involved in the market in certain zones, and I want to take the price to another zone. It's very, very simple in that sense. Okay, so as you can see me here, I'm typing in my notes. My bias is more short due to the London and Asia session. So this is my thought process going into this particular trade. We've broken a trend line on the higher time frames. We are showing downward potential. However, the London and Asia price action is showing me the potential that it's going to make almost like a manipulative move to grab some form of liquidity or go and test areas of resistance to then make the move that it wants to make. Okay, so I'm really just reviewing the price action here as my fundamental basis. Okay, there's no news event on this particular day. It's pure price action. So as you can see, the move is aggressive, takes out liquidity that I previously marked out. So now I am interested because it's also in the time frame when I like to trade the indices. It's in that prime time that my sort of playbook works. So I'm now interested, right? So I'm looking for a nice little pullback into the zone, which is now happening. I'm then getting interested and loading up on a position. That's all I'm looking to do. I'm just looking to take out the next zone of liquidity, and I want it to be done fast. So you see me here, I'm putting a stop just above. I want to go down to the next level of liquidity, which is where the potential stop orders are going to be placed as price broke out of that previous sort of consolidation phase. Nothing, too crazy. I'm not showing you the order flow, the footprint that I'm using, because that obviously guides me. I'm just showing you the candlestick chart. I can show you that in another video, but essentially I'm watching the tape here to see sellers coming in, bang, flush, very quick trade. Happy days, we just take the profit and we move on. Very simple, very clean, and price then continue to do whatever it needed to do. You can see me here, this is 0.5 of the range of the consolidation. So for me, I'm on the right side of that range in terms of selling. You want to be selling above that range, generally speaking, and you want to be buying below the range. That's kind of how I view these range plays. So that was a NASDAQ play, and if we go back to the FTMO dashboard, I will pick another gold trade as a final example. As you can see here, I made around $1,400. I was in the trade for around an hour, and again, it was buying gold, and we took this trade sort of on two separate positions to essentially take profit. So I'm going to just show you how we went about this particular trade. As you can see, we are on a nice strong upward move. Absolutely no reason for me to be trying to fade such a strong trend on gold this year, especially during these last sort of couple of months. So I'm just looking for a nice little pullback play. Very, very simple. So I'm looking at the 1 hour here. We've broken out of a range. We are now at all-time highs. There's bullish momentum with gold, and we've taken out this high. So it clearly hasn't been a liquidity play because we've continued on now for another sort of 6 hour period. So 6 hourly candles have now formed above this previous all-time high. So I'm not really looking for a short at this point. I'm playing probabilities that there is another leg up here, and the support zones are, as you can see, just above that particular purple box at the top. You can see the gathering and accumulation that happened. So I'm just looking for a price opportunity for price to come back into this particular area of demand and potentially come and fill in this particular area. So as you can see, price comes in, touches the imbalance, goes back, touches the imbalance. So this is giving me ideas that actually this is a nice sticky area for price. And this is a 15-minute candles too. So for me, this is these are support ideas, right? This is supporting the bullish bias I have in my head, and it's also on the 15 minutes. So I'm therefore drilling down into the lower time frames. And again, I'm just looking for easy zonal plays, right? Breaking a bit of a trend. I've got cumulative delta on my side. I've got the footprint chart and time and sales on my side. I can see buyers are stepping in. And if we just look at the basic mechanics here, it's a very simple trade up to very easy levels, right? And that's all I'm looking to take on gold. Gold is a very volatile asset. This is how I trade it. And we just look to take out very easy zones. I am looking at the volume profile here as well, the value area lows and highs. I'm not showing this on this chart because it's on a different screen. So as you can see, in the trade for no longer than an hour, price goes and takes out the zones of interest that I previously marked out. And that's it really. Very simple, in and out, took about an hour. So I think one of the main takeaways is if you go back to, this is the NASDAQ chart, right? I was trading in this accumulation and I took my profit split because as you can see straight after the profit split day, this is what happened, right? You're not able to predict that move, you know, that sort of drastic up and down that happens during the fundamental events. If you're up on your funded account, which I was around 14,000 at this point, 15,000 at this point, you know, you need to pay yourself and just understand the cyclical nature of your asset, right? If you know that there is going to be some type of volatility that you aren't really going to be able to predict or have a competitive edge in trying to get ahead of the market, then why would you risk the capital or the profit that you've already made and also potentially get into the crosshairs of the proprietary firm? They don't like these kind of, you know, moves where you are capitalizing on large swing days, on fundamental news events and stuff like that. Could I have stayed in and absolutely made a killing? Yeah, potentially, yes, absolutely, it could have. But for me, the sweet science of trading and the comfort of trading is once you've got to a certain level and you've practiced for a certain amount of years and you've learnt your craft and you've put in the reps, is the comfort is really knowing that at any given day you can go into a market and you can make consistent money, right? And consistency can only happen when you are trading in consistent conditions that are suitable to your actual playbook. If you've got a few different plays that work during certain conditions. Now, if you have a playbook that works during high volatile news events, then absolutely, mate, go ahead and do that, you know. But for me, my back testing, my trial and error, my actual real life profit and loss, you know, losing real money, making real money, I have kind of come to the conclusion that if I am in profit on a funded account, you know, a couple of days or a day before a news event, and I know that my edge is going to be, you know, 20, 30, 40, maybe 50% lower than it would be on you know, the current day or how it's been going in the current month. I'm not going to risk it because I'll rather pay myself, pay my business, trading as a business, and essentially we move on. So it's quite interesting, as you can see here from the NASDAQ chart, that I took a payout specifically on that day, and then literally the next day, look what happens. And I'm not saying I couldn't have caught some of that action, absolutely, but the level of volatility that creeps into the market on funded accounts, you know, if it's my personal capital is different, but with a funded account, you're going to blow it. You know, you're going to blow your, you know, your rules, you're going to blow your, you know, your potential drawdown, and it's just going to basically make you a target for potentially firms thinking that you're gambling, right? So just use your logic, guys. You know, I use my logic, and I'm running a business here. I was at $14,000. I took the payout, you know, after the 80% split, came out of around 11K. As you can see, I'm just a trader on the same journey as you guys, trying to better everybody's life in my own family. So I'm really enjoying this journey, and all I ask for really is some support for me to have more incentive to make videos. Please drop a comment below if there's something specific you would like me to talk about. Happy to sort of talk about crypto and other forms of investments I'm involved in, as right now that is quite a hot space. In terms of your own trading journey, be vigilant. There's a lot of scammers out there and gurus. I do not profess to be a guru at all, nor do I sell any courses, so I will never approach you first. Please be mindful of that. Please stay vigilant and stay safe. And remember, there's many ways you can trade, and you can do it however you want to do it, but this was Kai's way. Peace out.